Mambo vipi everyone? I hope you guys mko poa. Welcome again. Leo tena tupo na Isaac, and today, unlike the previous episode tulikuwa tunaongelea mostly about stocks, leo tutaongelea about mutual funds. As the previous episode, this episode is also sponsored by Zan Securities.
Zan Securities is a capital market investment firm. We are licensed by the Capital Markets and Securities Authority, CMSA. Part of our works that we do, we enable people to buy and sell shares and other securities that are listed on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, of course, including treasury bonds, corporate bonds, mutual funds, etc. But we also do investment advisory for companies that are looking to raise capital. So this could be small, medium enterprises, large enterprises that need to fund the expansion. So they could either do that by issuing IPOs, initial public offerings, or by issuing debt securities. But the third thing that we also do, we are a fund manager. So we are licensed as a fund manager to manage funds on behalf of our clients, particularly in the capital markets in Tanzania. So we've been in the market for more than, I think now we're heading towards our 16th year, because we were incorporated in 2009. We were one of the largest stock brokerage firms in Tanzania, and we have presence in both Zanzibar, Tanzania mainland, and we also have other counterparties that we work with very closely in Kenya, Rwanda, South Africa, Mauritius.
So if you need to learn anything, how come you need to want to invest into the market, make sure una reach out kwao. Mambo vipi?
Safi kabisa.
Again, karibu.
Happy to be here. Asante sana.
Thank you so much. Timiza funds. I'd like to know how old is Timiza funds right now?
Okay, so unajua, just to give you context.
Yeah.
Tukiongelea masuala ya collective investment scheme, this is an area that has been around since 2004, 2005.
In Tanzania.
In Tanzania,
yeah.
Yes. So it's been there. Like, it's been dominated by one institution for all that time. It was only up until 2022 ndo kukaja kuna institution nyingine, kwa zikawa institution mbili ambazo ziko kwenye market, of which all of these are government owned institutions. Yeah, lakini sasa it was just in 2024 where Zan Securities, we launched officially the first privately managed collective investment scheme by the name of Timiza Fund. And in 2024, we launched it in April. And the goal was to be able to collect 10 billion and to manage 10 billion. But tukakusanya more than 10.3 billion. And right now, the value of the fund has grown to 16 billion.
16.
Yes. So this is a space, and boy, it's been there. And people are very much, wako very active involved in mutual funds au collective investment scheme. Lakini the more popular kama mifuko ya wekezaji ya pamoja.
Yeah.
Ukimwambia mtu menua vipande vya wekezaji ndo wanajua zaidi. It's more popularized hivyo. So Timiza Fund ina mwaka sasa hivi. Ina mwaka. It's growing, as I mentioned, from 10 billion to 16 billion. And it's been a saving vehicle for people who want to put their money that earns something for them. Instead of leaving your money in an account ambayo it doesn't earn you any interest, it's important to put it somewhere that your money works for you.
Yeah.
At least in a earn kitu, instead of just staying idle and not giving you any return.
Yeah.
So Timiza Fund is a collective investment scheme that is managed by Zan Securities Limited. Zan Securities Limited, we're a licensed fund manager. So tumekuwa licensed na the Capital Markets and Securities Authority in Tanzania to provide services of fund management. Yeah. So we manage that on behalf of the investors. Yes.
Kama vilivyosema kwamba on mutual funds inasaidia mtu kuhifadhi hela yake. On the previous episode tumeongelea stocks. I'd like to know, so mtu anakuja kuambia sikia, I just have this money, sijui nifanye nini. Yes. Would you advise them kwamba put them in mutual funds wakati unafikiria ufanye nini?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kwa sababu kumbuka, mutual fund is like just a bank account that gives you returns.
All right.
Yeah. That's before you making any rash decisions ambazo you come to regret later. Put your money there, calm down, think about what you want to do. Then by the time ukitaka kuja kufanya kitu, you take your money and then you go do it. By the time you take your money, utakuwa umekuwa some return.
Yeah.
Umeona, kuliko kuiacha tu idle, it doesn't give you any return. Yes.
So would you advise mtu ambaye anataka kufanya investment a consider a mutual fund kama investment area, au I consider kama hivyo saving area?
Well, it's an investment area. It's an investment area because it gives you returns, right, and it grows over time. So it's an investment area as well. So some people might think of it as a saving vehicle, like it's more of an investment vehicle as well. Yeah, so that's one way of looking at it here.
Zako Securities as a company, mpaka mkaamua kuja na Timiza, that means you saw a gap, or you saw like a challenge kwenye the existing two ambazo ni za serikali. What was the gap that you guys saw and you're like, we need to fill this gap?
It's just like any other market. You see that maybe kwenye upande wa service delivery, maybe existing players, they were not doing, okay, they're doing a good job, but I think more could be done if there is more competition in the market. So I believe that if you have competition breeds innovation, right? That's so true. If you have two players in the market, unaweza kama relax. So bana sisi tu. Sisi ni sisi tu. So hata kama ni labda ni biashara ya kituo cha mafuta, wako vituo viwili, so they might even relax in terms of pricing, or in terms of service delivery, or unakuta sasa, okay, sasa ni petrol station lakini hamna supermarkets, hamna car wash. Sasa kama competition ikija, ataangalia, okay, namna gani ambavyo naweza nikaboresha hii biashara, naweka supermarket, naweka car wash, naweka muziki kwenye supermarket, naweka muziki kwenye hiyo station ya. So anakuwa anaongeza value. Lakini mtu ambaye ana benefit yule anayekuja kuweka mafuta kwenye kituo chako, kwa sababu akija pale ana option, naweza nikaosha gari, naweza nikala chakula kwenye supermarket, naweza nikasikiliza muziki. Kwa hiyo you have all this flexibility. So we saw that we could bring more, and of which we have, and we bring flexibility to people who want to invest in the market. Pia they have the ability of monitoring the investments real time through the application. Pia customer care is spot on. We are facing our clients all the time. If they have any issues at any moment, we solve it in real time. So those are the things that we saw as Zako Securities, and kusema, oh, you know what, it's an opportunity not only for us, but to also add value to the investors that are in the market as well.
Umesema kama hivyo petrol stations zikiwa mbili, akija new player ataweka supermarket, car wash and all that. What would you say in the supermarket na car wash at Zako Securities compared to the others as well?
Yeah, so we want to create easiness of investment. We have an application, Zako Invest, and through that application you can buy units of Timiza Fund. It's integrated to the stock exchange. You can buy shares there, you can sell shares. So it's a one-stop shop. Umeona, ambao unaweza kufanya kila kitu. Lakini pia kuna customer care pale kwenye application. If you have any question relating to the market, you can ask, get responses, get educated. So that is one thing ambao we saw. You know what? As a broker in the market, our business is information. We cannot hide information. We need to give information so people use that information waweze kuingia kwenye market, wafanye investments, wanunue products ziwe nyingi, wazaji wawe wengi, uchumi ukue. That is what we are doing.
From how we started, we're assuming people know what's a mutual fund or a start. If they don't know, you explained it very well on the course we created. Probably they'll learn better there compared to kisema tuanze kuongelea the basics hapa. I just want to know kwenye upande wa Timiza, what is the philosophy of you guys to invest into something? Au mna invest kwenye nini specifically?
That's a very good question. So, any mutual fund or any collective investment scheme, ni lazima kuwe kuna investment policy. Investment policy inakupa guidance ya what areas to invest in. So that is stipulated kwenye information memorandum au kwenye ile katiba, so to speak, ya Timiza Fund. Kwa hiyo kwenye offer document ya Timiza Fund. Kwa hiyo imeainisha kwamba the areas that we can invest our investors funds are fixed income securities, our treasury bonds, and listed equities kwenye Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Sasa kwenye listed equities au listed shares tumeka cap ya 50%. Kwa mfano, kama fund yote ni 10 billion, there's no point in time where more than 5 billion invested in equities. That is the ceiling. Lakini kwenye treasury bonds kuna flexibility kidogo. We can go higher than that. Kwa sababu treasury bonds are risk free. Kwa sababu unajua kwenye investment management, it's not about managing returns. It's more about managing risk. Returns, you can get returns, but risk ni kitu ambacho is something that you need to be very, very careful about. You don't want to put your money ambapo you can lose all of it today.
Okay.
No, so you need to be very prudent in terms of your investment decisions related to risks, related to allocation. No maana taasisi investment zetu are within capital market securities that are listed in Tanzania. We're never going to invest in shares of a company ambayo haiko listed. We're never going to invest in something that is not listed in.
So when you say 50 in equity cap, that means ni zile ambazo zipo listed.
Zile ambazo ziko listed.
Sio
Isaac Company Limited that is not listed. All the shares that are listed in the National Stock Exchange, kwa ndo cap hatuwezi kuzidi 50% of the entire fund's net asset value. So that is the investment allocation as for now.
With the mutual funds, obviously kuna the fund manager ambao ndo nyie. Na naamini the different types of fund managing style. Kuna wale ambao wapo active kwamba kila labda baada ya muda fulani wanachukua huko na hamishia. Kuna zile ambazo they just put on treasury bonds passive. I'd like to know kama my thinking ni sawa kwamba zipo styles za namna hiyo, and I'd like to know what style do you guys use?
I mean, that's very good. It's a very good question. So again, unajua kuna sort of investment styles, as you mentioned. You just buy a security you hold, you get the cash flows, you pay back your investors. Mekubaliana kwamba benchmark return maybe is 12%, 13%. Everybody's happy. But we want to beat the market. So we are very actively involved. If we spot a good opportunity for investment, we do that. Kwa sababu ultimately, sisi aliyetuajiri au mandate ambayo tunayo ni hawa wawekezaji. So we need to make sure that we minimize risk and we maximize return as much as possible. So we're very active. Kwa hiyo we invest in listed stocks. Pale ambapo a good opportunity kijitokeza, we invest. Lakini pia we invest in treasury bonds. So, but we don't buy and hold to maturity. Ikijitokea opportunity nzuri tunanunua, then we might sell even in the future. So that's what we do basically.
So like right now, what would you say is the highest asset class you may invest?
Yeah, so because of issues at risk, we are very much prudent kwenye investment in treasury bonds because that is the safest. We know kwamba possibility of value kushuka is close to zero. So we're very much we're heavily weighted kwenye upande wa treasury bonds as of now. Yeah, but if there's an opportunity for us to invest in equities, we do that as well because, as I mentioned, ultimately we want to return to the unit holders alpha returns, which are above market.
I mean, I don't know if you'll be willing to share, but I'd like to know, like, within this 1 year, what was the challenging investment that you guys did?
Oh, to be honest, unajua, the market in Tanzania is not really that complicated. It's plain vanilla. Unajua, it's plain vanilla. It's clear. So you cannot really do a lot that is wrong as compared to other markets ambazo you have different products, una derivatives, una nini, lakini huku you can buy, and then unajua kwa sababu ukiangalia hata kwenye market there's very active trading, buying and selling, so there's always a market for your products. In the event that you want to liquidate, unaweza ukaamua kuja kuuza and liquidate and get the money back. So in terms of really having a specific situation that has been challenging as far as investment is concerned, so far we have not. Maybe it's because of the newness of the fund. As I mentioned, we've only been operating in 1 year. But as far as the market is concerned, conditions are conducive. The market environment is enabling. Investors wako wengi, hata liquidity pia iko nyingi tu kwenye market.
Umesema Tanzanian market is plain vanilla compared to other markets. What are those challenges ambazo zipo kwenye hizo other markets ambapo Tanzania hazipo? It makes it that. Na ni kwa nini Tanzania hazipo challenges kama hizo?
Challenge ya kwanza ambayo it's a very pertinent challenge is volatility. Yani kwamba unajua there's huge price changes within a day, 2 days, 3 days. So just imagine maybe you bought a security and then wewe ulikuwa unataka ku exit after maybe 2 months. And then there's been a negative 20% movement on that. It really affects your returns. So there's not much volatility as far as the downside is concerned. Lakini it's more on the upside. Lakini pia challenge nyingine ambayo labda mtu anaweza kaipata kwenye market zingine ni liquidity. You bought something, you want to exit, there's no market to sell that to. So kumbuka, hii ni fund ambayo anyone can enter and anyone can exit at any time. So if somebody want to exit, you have locked in your money in a security that is not sellable. What are you going to do? Yeah, so that's the reason why I'm saying investment is not really complicated as far as the capital market is concerned, kwa sababu zile challenges ambazo ziko kwingine, huku kwetu we don't face it. Yeah, we don't, we face, lakini sio to that extent.
Hey, mambo vipi? I hope unaenjoy episode hii. Episode hii bana imedhaminiwa na Zan Securities. Hawa ni mawakala wawekezaji kwenye soko la hisa la Dar es Salaam, walioidhinishwa na mamlaka ya masoko ya mitaji na dhamana, wanaofahamika kama CMSA, ili kuweza kutoa huduma za uwekezaji kwa watu wanaotaka kushiriki kwenye masoko haya ya dhamana na mitaji. Hivyo basi, kama wewe mwenyewe ungependa kuanza kuwekeza kwenye hisa au hati fungani ila bahati mbaya hujui pa kuanzia, unaweza ukawacheck Zan Securities nao wakakupa mwongozo wa namna gani kuwekeza kulingana na malengo yako wewe mwenyewe. Na consultation ofisini kwao ni bure kabisa. Ila pia Zan Securities wanafanya usimamizi wa uwekezaji unaofahamika kama fund management kupitia mfuko wao wa uwekezaji wa pamoja unaoitwa Timiza Fund. Mfuko huu wa Timiza Fund unakuruhusu wewe kuanza kuwekeza kwa kuanzia shilingi 10,000 tu na kuendelea. Unaweza ukawatembelea ofisini kwao au ukadownload application yao inayopatikana Play Store pamoja na App Store inayofahamika kama Zan Invest. Ukiingia humo ndani unaweza ukapata information zote zinazokusaidia wewe kuanza kujifunza au kufahamu namna ya kuwekeza kwenye mifuko ya uwekezaji wa pamoja, kwenye hisa ama hati fungani za serikali na za makampuni binafsi. Tuendelee na episode.
I would like to know, Pierre, like, what are your charges compared to like others?
Oh yeah, so because this is a fund, being a fund, CC ni fund manager. And our goal is to be able to invest our investors' money in areas that we know are safe and we can get returns. So example, if we invest in treasury bonds, we get returns from treasury bonds. We give those returns back to the investors. But again, we operate as a fund manager. Sasa tukiwa kama fund manager tuna overheads ambazo tunazo. Overheads zinaweza kama administration expenses, marketing expenses, advertising expenses, management fee. Kwa hiyo baada ya kukata hizo expenses zote ndo tunamrudishia sasa yule mwekezaji. Because as far as we're concerned in terms of expenses, we're the lowest in the market. And you asked a question about value and gap. We saw that gap in the market. Tukasema when we come in the market, we're going to be one of the lowest cost efficient fund in the market. So we did that. We came, and that's the reason why we were able to raise as much as we have. Lakini pia upande wa return, we have the highest benchmark return in the market, so we are beating both ends by quite a mile.
So that means nikiingiza hela yangu na nikitoa sikatu chochote.
Ukatu chochote.
Like your profit or your cost comes in kwenye profit mtakopata, makato ndio yanafanyika huko, alafu kwenye returns ndo.
Yes.
And do the other ones do the same au kuna charges wanafanya?
Okay, so again, they're different. Kwa hiyo kuna fund nyingine ambao wana charge entry load na exit load. Kwamba utakaponunua utalipia a certain expense when you enter, and when you exit utalipa a certain expense au utakatwa kiasi utakapouza hivyo vipande vyako vya uwekezaji. Kwa hiyo but for us again we saw that gap. We said, you know what, we don't want to burden an investor. We want to make life easier for them. Tumemwambia kwamba this is a saving vehicle, it's an investment vehicle. Why then do we want to take money away from them again? Yeah. So when we came in, we had a very minimum lock-in period of around 15 days. Baada ile initial public offering, baada hapo no lock-in period, no exit load, no charges when you want to invest or exit, and minimal expenses attributable to the fund. So everything we wanted to make sure kwamba we are bringing value to the investors in Tanzania.
Just for me to understand, lock-in period ni ile kwamba nimeweka langu leo sitaki kuitoa mpaka ifike siku.
Correct.
Okay.
Kuna fund nyingine ambazo zilikuja, of course wao walikuwa na lock-in period labda miezi 3, wengine miezi 6, kuna wengine mpaka mwaka mmoja. So we didn't want to do that because we want to create a situation where you're flexible. You have an emergency here today. You want to be able to solve that emergency. You should be able to use the money that you invested in Timiza Fund to be able to do that.
From other funds as well, unakuta zipo options. Kuna labda jikimu, kuna zile zingine. With you guys, is it only one product that is currently available, right?
So we brought in as one fund at the moment.
Yeah, it's not split into like this,
No,
this,
no,
and
no.
this.
We only have one fund at the moment.
Okay. Personally, nishai kuweka hela in one of the others. And on depositing, it takes up to, in withdrawing, sorry, it takes up to 1 to 2 weeks.
Oh, that is a lot.
And that is actually the fund. It's actually ule mfuko ambao you're supposed to get money instantly ukiweza kudeposit. So I want to know from you guys, what's the timings?
3 days maximum you have your money.
Inaingia kwenye mfuko wako.
Kwa sababu pia ni kitu ambacho tulisikia changamoto kubwa. Watu walikuwa wanakuwa face. I think unajua sometimes when you have a business it grows too big, sometimes it's very hard to manage it.
That's true.
Yeah, so we came in the market with the goal of making it easier for people to invest, for people to save, for people to, even if you need your money, you know it's your money, you should get it whenever you want.
Now, do you guys make it public kwamba bana, this is amount ambayo tumekusanya na X amount kwenye hii tulokusanya tumeweka kwenye bonds, X amount tumeweka kwenye kitu fulani, X amount tumeweka kwenye kitu fulani?
So the specifics of our investments are usually made available on the quarterly reports and the annual reports. However, performance of the fund we publish every day to the website.
Every day.
Like how big is the fund? How many units are issued are outstanding at the moment? What is the NAV per unit? What is the return per unit? Mfuko umekuwa kwa kiasi gani? All that information is available in public.
NAV per unit.
NAV per unit.
Umenecho kwenye mata.
NAV per unit kirefu chake ni net asset value per unit. Let's assume that fund in a unit milioni 100.
And that's like, ukisema unit, that means watu waliokuwepo.
Kwa sababu unajua investment inakuwa denominated in terms of units. Ni kama vile tuseme shares.
Shares.
It's like, let's use that word. Let's use that word interchangeably. Let's say kuna shares milioni 100. Hizo shares milioni 100, share moja thamani yake ni shilingi 100. What is the total value of the fund? Total value of the fund is 10 billion. So net asset value per unit is 100 shillings. Because I took 10 billion, I divided by the number of units. I got how much the net asset is attributable to each unit, which is 100 shillings. Yeah, so it's just basic arithmetics. Unachukua tu thamani ya mfuko wote, unagawana kwa zile vipande ambazo ziko issued, unapata huo mfuko kwa kila unit moja, thamani ya mfuko ni kiasi gani kwa kila unit moja. That is the net asset value. Yeah.
Now, do you guys give out gawio?
Distributions, yes. So ukiangalia hata kwenye plan zetu kuna income distribution plan na kuna reinvestment plan. Unajua kuna yule mtu ambaye ana invest lakini anataka kupata periodic distribution, but there's another person that they invest but they want to compound that. Instead of me investing 1 million, I get paid 100,000 at the end of the year. I want that 100,000 iwe inaongezwa kwenye 1 million. Kwa hata mwisho mwaka nitakapolipwa iwe nalipa kwenye 1,100,000. Kwa hiyo 10% yake tena nalipa naongezewa. So within a couple of years it compounds and it results into a huge gain ultimately.
Okay.
Yes.
So dividends, is it yearly, once per year?
It's once per year. Yeah.
Hapo ni December or like June?
So most of the times now, because we just started the fund, yes, we're going to have another general meeting, and once that is done, we're going to tell details about that distribution.
Kwenye upande wa publications za data zenu, is it quarterly, monthly, or yearly mna publish kwamba this is how the fund performed this time?
Yeah, so we have a yearly report ambayo is published. Sasa kwa sababu baada ya audited, ikishakuwa audited, then hizo financial statements zinakuwa published to the website, ambapo you can have a copy of that to see how good the fund has performed, to see the investment allocation, to see where have we invested, what has been our expenses. Tumeahidi kwamba we're going to have maybe a maximum of 2.1% ratio. Have we maintained that? What has been the distribution for the year na kadhalika. So there's an annual report that is being published after ikishakuwa audited by the auditors.
Based on your experience, would you advise someone to invest in this if they're looking for a long-term or short-term investment?
Okay, both ways. It's both ways. You can look at it both ways. It's a place for someone that feels, I have money, I want to put it somewhere that earns me something. let me put it in Timiza fund, let me put it in a mutual fund. But again, inaweza kuwa ni mtu mwingine ambaye amesema, you know what, I have money like 100 million, but I don't need it right now. I want to invest it somewhere. It compound. Iongezeke for, I don't care about it, even for 5 years, 6 years, it's fine. So it's an investment area for long term as well. So it depends on what your need is as far as the investments are concerned. It could be for short term, it could be for long term. Lakini it could be either way, just depending on the objective of that specific investor.
Sasa hivi nakuuliza swali la wewe kujiua. I'd like to know, like, what are the risks of investing in a mutual fund?
So the
worst scenario that can happen.
The risks goes down to the area that the fund has invested in. So this is just not only to timiza fund. Ni muhimu hata wewe kama prospective investor ukajua nini unaweka hela yako. Where are you putting your money? Where is your money? What is your money going to be done with? Right? So if you're investing in a fund ambayo invest in areas that are illiquid, maybe let's say labda real estate. There was a very popular case in Kenya ambayo ilikuwa na face one of the real estate investment trusts ambapo kwa bahati mbaya they had their fund, na ndio hiyo ilikuja kwenye ile swali ambayo niuliza the other time about preference between stock market na real estate.
Okay.
Just to vote. Yeah. So there was a real estate investment trust, which is another word to say a mutual fund that invests in real estate. Ambayo sasa kwa bahati mbaya they issued their fund just before COVID, around 2019. Sasa kumbuka kwamba hawa wana invest kwenye real estate. Alafu wamekusanya hela kutoka kwa watu. Wakaenda kufanya development ya hizo real estate. Na kumbuka wanabidi waahidi watu kuwapatia interest, lakini ukarudishia hela yao.
Yeah.
So you're investing in an area ambayo in 2020 COVID came, property prices dropped, people are not buying properties anymore. Ukitaji hela yako hapo unafanyaje? So utakwambia bwana, at the moment we're unable to give you back your money because the projects have stalled, we're unable to sell properties, business has slowed down, COVID, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that is one risk as well. Kwamba, you're putting your money in a mutual fund, you're putting your money in an investment vehicle. Where is your money being invested in? If you need that money, can that fund give you that money at the time that they specified? So going back to that example, watu walikuwa wanataka hela zao na ilipofika muda wa kulipwa wakaambia bana, unfortunately we're not able to give you back your money. We're not able to give you back. And so many people lost a lot of money. Right now I think the case is going on in court.
So it never recovered.
It never recovered.
So it was a loss, complete loss.
It was a loss. I think there are ongoing cases in terms of liquidation about that fund. Yeah. So so again, it all goes down to where you're investing and what risks are you able to tolerate. Kwa sababu ukiinvest, you need to think about the worst case scenario. Yeah. Lakini sasa going back to Timiza Fund, sisi, we are investing in areas that are completely safe as far as treasury bonds are concerned, treasury bills, and that is where a huge chunk of the investment goes, to make sure kwamba there's no situation that can occur where investors are stuck and they cannot get their money.
Treasury bonds, treasury bills, what's the difference between the two?
Very good question. Sasa, all of this we say are debt instruments. They're debt instruments, they're IOUs, kwamba I need to pay you back in the future, but they're being issued by the government. Kwa government, in order to fund budget, it might occur kwamba serikali ina budget. Right? Ina mapato, ina matumizi. Sometimes mapato hayafiki matumizi. Sasa in order to bridge that, they borrow. So they can either borrow short term. When they borrow short term, they issue those treasury bill securities ambazo zina mature in 35 days, 91, 182, and 1 year. So they're 4 maturities. So basically, treasury bills are short-dated debt instruments that are being issued by the government. Lakini tukiongelea treasury bonds, these are longer maturities. Yeah. So they start from 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, and 25. Yeah.
Kati hizo mbili, this is just out of my curiosity. Ipi ndo returns zake ni nzuri? Au zote zinakuwa zina return sawa, sema ni muda tu wa maturity na tofauti? Yeah,
so the higher the time to maturity, the higher the return. So ukiangalia kwa bond ya miaka 25, return yake is around, or the annual interest, or the annual coupon is 15.75. Kwa kila mwaka inalipa 15.75. So that is the annual return that you get as an investor for buying Tanzanian 25-year treasury bond.
Na the bills,
The bills, unajua bills kwa lugha ya kitaalam zinaitwa discounted instruments. So if you want to purchase a treasury bill from the government of Tanzania through the central bank, you bid at a discount. What does that mean? Nimeongelea mambo ya kubid. Bid hapa inaitwa concept ya mnada. Kwa hiyo mnada, the way the central bank issues these securities, they do it through an auction mechanism, ambapo wanakuambia tarehe utakuwa kuna mnada ambapo the government is going to borrow. Sasa everyone is invited to participate. Sasa when you're invited to participate, you outline how much are you ready to lend to the government. Sasa kwenye treasury bill haulipwi fixed interest. Wewe utasema kwamba mimi nataka nilipwe milioni 100 baada ya mwaka mmoja, lakini hiyo milioni 100 ndakupa wewe milioni 95 leo. So you're bidding at a discount. Hence why they're called discounted instruments. So you bid at a discount leo kwa kulipia 95 ili baada ya mwaka mmoja ulipe milioni 100. Sasa kuna watu tofauti wanabidi. Mwingine anataka milioni 92, mwingine 93, 95, 96, 97 na mwingine anataka 100. So what the central bank will do, they will draw a minimum. But we are only going to accept those who put 95 going up, because it's not in the best interest for them to receive less and pay more in the future, right? So they'll try as much as they can to bring that line higher. Kwamba wale ambao wameweka 95 kwenda juu ndio tutakupokea bidi zao. So those are treasury bills. That's how treasury bills work.
So for our audience here,
Yes.
I would like you to say something ambao wajifunze
Yes.
that might make them interested to invest in Timiza funds.
I mean, what I can just say is everyone has the ability to start their investment journey. Investment should not be misconstrued as a right for few people. How it should not be made to seem, bana, this is very complicated. Haya mambo ni kwa ajili ya watu matajiri. Ukatimiza, kwa ajili ya watu ambao wamesoma. Ukatimiza, you only need 10,000 shillings. 10,000 shillings, you start investing. And again, as I mentioned, it's very convenient kwa sababu kuna application kwenye simu, you can monitor your investments. There's customer care service available throughout the whole day. So if you have any issues in terms of investments, or rather even if you don't have issues but you want to understand and learn, you can reach out to us. We give you all the information you need. And because we want to promote investments generally, we do that free of charge. If you want to learn, if you want to be educated, if you want information, we provide that. We provide that to me.
Atataka kuja ofisini is also free of charge.
Tunamkaribisha, free of charge.
That's good to hear. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'll get a lot of people on that angle kwa sababu I've got a lot of people requesting kwamba I like what he was saying. I'd like to learn more. Yes. Sasa unakuta labda the people that come in here, they charge for that service. So I'm pretty sure you'll get a lot.
It's totally free. So our offices are at Viva Towers, barabara ya Ali Hassan Mwinyi na Ohio. And we're at the first floor of Viva Towers. Kwa ukija tu pale utaona Zan Securities. We have a team of experts that are, they're ready to give you all the insights related to the market, free of charge.
We've done a 3-hour session.
Really?
I think kwa sababu tumeunganisha mbili, that makes it 3 hours. So I've learned a lot in stocks. And this week nimejifunza a lot in stocks kwa sababu I've had a lot of people. And I'm positive that I would want to learn on how to start investing. Nijifunze the terms, the fundamental analysis and all that. So kama ni free, mimi nitakuwa kwanza kufika ofisini.
Nakupa na chai kabisa pia.
Thank you so much.